Hey, praise Yah. Welcome in to Raise the Bars. Man, that's loud. Yeah, welcome into Raise the Bars, man. This is a new live stream series that I'm doing, and it's already kind of evolving. What I was initially doing, I did one last week, and the idea behind it was taking songwriting tips from notable artists, rappers, songwriters, just in general, and using that as motivation to write a songwriting session, to write a song, maybe come up with a hook. But today, well, yesterday, I had an epiphany. I just was scrolling through shorts, I guess, and I came across a short of Michael Jordan. And I was like, you know what? If I broaden this just a little bit, I think this could be actually much better. So that's what I'm giving a try, going outside the spectrum of musicians and songwriters to just general mindset from notable people who have found success in their field, right? So that's what I'm gonna do today. And instead of starting from scratch, I'm not making a beat, not chopping anything up. I actually have this old, one of like the first ideas that I started putting together when I really got down to writing songs on an MPC Live 2 is this was an idea I just kind of left, and I have a hook recorded to it, and I realized I actually had one verse. So I'm gonna try to write another verse to it. That is so I'm gonna meditate a little bit. I'm gonna watch the video clip and then meditate on what he has to say and kind of move forward and write the next verse. And I'll do the first verse for y'all in a second too. Starting off a little bit stumbly with my words here. All good though. Praise Yah. Sim City Big World. What is happening, man? Good to see you. Yeah. I was kind of hesitating about doing this because I'm feeling extra tired today. But I want to get it in and stay consistent and just keep moving. Alley Star, what's good, man? Is it evening? For sure it's evening where you're at. So yeah, this is let me just go ahead and play the hook for you. This is the intro, and then I'll lead into the hook.
Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit, unless you got purpose, so worthless, yeah, Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit, unless you got purpose, so worthless, yeah.
So many do it for the money and some for the love. Many are called but few are chosen from above. This ain't about boasting, it's about grace. So many people coasting. A life's a terrible thing to waste. Get your mind right, look to Christ. I've been blind my whole life, no sight. Gotta find a focus and take flight on it. Get right on it, no matter your plight. Everybody's gotta struggle though the pain takes a toll. Gotta love yours. Quotation J. Cole, thank you for the inspiration. Don't fold, you gotta fight. Keep fighting until your blood go cold. Keep sweating till your tears run out. What do you fear? We don't all grow old. Something to think about. Bigger picture, nothing else matter but the love. Watch the words in your mouth. Everything's vibrating. We're all created from a word, from these words I'm making. And then it goes back into the hook. I don't know how many bars that is.
Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit.
So yeah, that's the general
unless you
idea.
got purpose, so worthless, yeah. Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit, unless you got purpose, so worthless, yeah.
Alright, cool. And then pull this up. Alright, so this is a clip of Michael Jordan talking about ego, and it resonated with me yesterday. I was at work on my lunch and I was walking on a treadmill and I was just playing this. But prior to that, walking on that treadmill and watching this clip, I was on the phone with my wife and I was kind of expressing my frustration with I don't know, like my job is cool and all, but there's always, when you know what it is that you want to do, anything that kind of gets in
If you don't have ego, you can't do.
Hold on, let me pause that. Anything that gets in the way, that kind of can be frustrating. And sometimes I feel like when I walk in that adapt to it. It's not that I don't like the job, it's cool. But I was talking on the phone with her and I was just saying, expressing how, I really feel like I could do this thing every day. Like I really enjoy, doing YouTube and live streaming and writing music and stuff. And I don't feel like short of ideas and all that. And and then I went on to say, maybe I just have too many ambitions. Maybe I'm too ambitious and I feel frustrated in that. So I think this resonated with that because, well, let me go ahead and play it, then I'll talk about it a little bit.
You can't have a sense of ego. You can't have a sense of determination to achieve. That's all a part of success. You cannot find a successful person in life who don't have an ego. That's just a part of the whole scenario.
How big is your ego?
It's big, but it's controllable. I won't let anyone else feel it or sense it or feel threatened by it, because I am very sensitive to other people's thinking of myself and of my personality and of the way that I carry myself. So my ego would never take it to a point where it imposes on other people around me.
Yeah, so he made some good points there, and it really resonated with me because I feel like this is how I am internally. I think that I have like a huge ego. Honestly, it's a really big ego, but it more exists internally in me versus on the surface. And I'm sure that kind of varies depending on the situation or who I'm around and who I'm expressing myself with, and what kind of relationship or friendship or just social ship, whatever it is. So, but I also think that way. I think like I don't want to impose my ego, So I'm very I guess aware, or at least like considerate in how my demeanor, whether it not necessarily offends, but what's the word, invades someone's mental space or something to that degree. But anyways, I hadn't really thought about it until I seen him say that, and it resonated. So I wanted to use this idea of ego to kind of fuel this next verse. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna get going on that. Let me just switch up the camera. Let's get on the MPC. I'll say what's up in the chat for a sec, and then get to this. And I got a couple lines. The first two lines I wrote down because I wanted something to jump off of, and it came to me. So when something comes to you, you got to just write it down. So I did. So I got a couple lines. Let me pull up the chat though. I feel like I'm coming into the stream a little bit anxious for some reason. Just like when you start hearing me stumble over my words and stuff. Yes, we got SimCity, Ellie Stars, and SimCity got a new protective cover for your Key 37. That's what's up. Get yourself like a deck saver. Crazy Rabbit, what's up, man? Appreciate it. I hope it's all well with you as well. Most F ear, what's good? Most Fear. I never really considered how you wrote that, like how you say your name, but I see it's like a play on fear and then ear because you got that E capitalized. Sun is down. Hawkeye on Seahawks. What's good, man? Yeah. So this is I debuted this series like last week. It didn't get numbers. It's kind of funny though, because it's funny that it didn't get comparable to some of the other stuff that I've been doing, like MPC Live 3. That's a hot topic. But I found it funny that the average views for the first episode of this series, Raise the Bars, even with I guess like a tag like J. Cole or whatever, got less views than my average stream that's just Raul's broadcast. So it's all good though. This is probably gonna be for now the least viewed series, I'm assuming, but probably the most important one for me. Hawkeye, living for 32 years on this earth, I came to the realization that ego can be a double-edged sword. Either it will make or break you. Yeah, for sure. So I think that's where we're going with this, because it's definitely something that fuels my desire to like be doing what I'm doing now, right? There's a lot of it is is the ego, where it may not come off like in my demeanor and stuff, but just the fact that I'm on the internet, you know, a lot of times I got a camera on myself, I'm talking about myself, whatever, you know, it's centered around me. So there's a lot of ego there, and a lot of my ambitions are driven by that. So something that I'm working out and trying to understand. I was gonna possibly do one other track that I've been sitting on for a minute, for I don't know how long, and it's called Ambition. And I think the hook was like, "I wish I didn't have ambition." At least that was the beginning. I don't remember what the whole thing goes, but that's kind of fitting to this. But yeah, so I mean, I think he makes a good point. Like, I'm sure there's different levels of egos out there, and it's kind of like a necessary evil in a way. I think I once wrote down in a notebook something to the effect is that I believe the self is just a necessary evil, or is a thing that exists only to be overcome. So the ego could be the mechanism which drives a person to move, but in the end, if he does not sacrifice that self, that ego, then there could be ruin and destruction, or any of that movement could end up being be a negative thing, an outcome for oneself or even the people around them. So yeah, you know, the self is a thing that is necessary only to be overcome. And that might sound extreme, I don't know, but it's kind of a thought process that I've held. Just being someone I've always been so aware of my own ego and my own vanity, and I guess it's one of those things that's a blessing and a curse. I'm kind of thankful for it, you know, because at least I can correct myself in some ways. I'm not always going to be aware of myself, but and I can't speak for anybody else. You know, it's easy to point fingers and suggest or say that someone has a big ego, but really goes through the head. And I guess I'm just grateful to be able to have some perspective, to look at myself from an outside perspective. And yeah. So let's see. And one thing I'm gonna do too is I think I was gonna double up on this and make a 12 bar, because I do 12 bar verses. So I'll just double the length and go from 4 to 8, and then double length again. Now I gotta see if my other verse is actually 12 bars or 16. I think it's 12. We'll see. Maybe it's some other weird number. And so usually, since I do a 12 bar verse, it's kind of weird. What I'll do is I'll double it from a 4 bar twice, and then go and where is it? You say delete bars, and go from 13 to 16, and just delete that, and then I got a 12 bar sequence there. And then what I wanted to do, so that I know when the end comes up, I got this little vocal thing that I'm gonna just cut out until towards the end. I'm just gonna do that individually. Yeah. All right. Let me do this one. So, taking the motivation, you know, inspiration from that clip, and then from my first verse, because I wanted to be consistent to what I'm doing, and then I do have these 2 lines. It seems like it's pretty consistent with the other verse. So many do it for them. Let me get my vocal chain up so this sounds a little bit better. Mixbox. I'm just gonna get my external vocal chain on the Mixbox iPad app real quick. When the ego is mixed with a sin, then it's a destructive force. Yeah, you're probably right about that. And for sure, that's something that I'm overcoming as well. All praise to Yah, for sure. Okay, check. Check. All And then I was gonna set this timer too, so that I don't go over 30 minutes of working on a verse. I want to give myself some limits and a framework for, you know what I mean? So many do it for the money, some for the love. Many are called, but few are chosen from above. This ain't about boasting, it's about grace. So many people coasting. A life's a terrible thing to waste. Get your mind right, look to Christ. I've been blind my whole life, no sight. Gotta find a focus and take flight on it. Get right on it, no matter your plight. Everybody's gotta struggle, though the pain takes a toll. But I love yours. Quotation J. Cole, thank you for the inspiration. Don't fold, you gotta fight. Keep fighting till your blood go cold. Keep sweating till your tears run out. What do you fear? We don't all grow old. Something to think about. Bigger. Okay, so this verse is like, it looks like it's gonna be 16 bars. So I guess I'm gonna go with 16. Let me bring this back. Maybe I'll do 116, 112. I don't know. Okay, 16 bars. Alright, so I use kind of the same structure, I think, for the second verse. So the first one I go, so many do it for the money and some for the love. Many are called, but few are chosen from above. Okay, and then the second one I wrote down, some do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Pride is a shame. Some do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power, but pride is a shame. Plus money, name, plus money equals power. Pride is a shame. So do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money, all for a name. Money equals power, plus pride is a shame. It is admirable that you possess ambition, a quality that is indeed essential for navigating the journey of life. Oh, well said. Yeah, so I don't know, like, what causes like certain different levels of ambition, and how you could even measure that, you know, because really it starts with whatever's in your head to some degree, you know. I think everybody on some degree has some sort of ambition, but can that be quantified or measured unless you see like results of that? Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Money equals power, pride is a shame. Let me play this back.
Have a sense of determination to achieve. That's all part of
Man, they're doing some tree work outside. It was horrible earlier. I would have came on earlier, but
who don't have an ego. You know, that's just a part of the whole scenario.
How big is your ego?
It's big, but it's controllable. I won't let anyone else feel it or sense it or feel threatened by it, because I am very sensitive to other people's thinking of myself and of my personality and of the way that I carry myself. So my ego would never take it to a point where it imposes on other people around me. If you don't have ego, you can't determine, you can't.
that's a key thing, the whole imposing on. Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Money equals power, pride is a shame. I build a tower. The tower's so. Try to build a tower so high that you claim many people's lives. Some do it for the ego, all for the name. Plus money equals power now, pride is a shame. Plus money equals power now, pride is a shame. Shame. Try to build a tower so high that it claims.
Yeah. Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. Try to build a tower so high that you claim. Profanes. The way of God's will. Built to high profanes. The way of God's will. Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power and pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Do it for the ego, some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. Try to build a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Is that a verb? Profanes the way of God's will.
Lee Jammin', what's good?
Yeah. Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is the same. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will.
See, now I'm remembering the advice from the last stream where I used my own, speak voice rather than rap voice. It's hard to to change that behavior.
Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Imposing
Yeah, still waiting. We'll see. I'm kind of done with the predictions on this run right here. Either we'll see it. Nah, I ain't even gonna say it. That's what I've heard. But I mean, that all came from a video that was pulled down. That's from someone who in the video said, "Don't trust some of the things I say, some of the things I do up here sometimes," and also, a couple months back said there wasn't anything coming, and then in that video says pretty much knows everything about it. So, yeah, I don't know. But I would like both those things, a faster and a mic on deck. That would be nice. Yeah, the Vapors was good, 10 pounds. How much does this one weigh? I don't know. What is this one, like 7 pounds? You got, so B Jammin', you got some. Here comes the interest in the MPC again, huh? Oh, okay, that's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm just not there yet where I'm using that many audio tracks. So 2 questions for you, B Jammin'. What would you be using more audio tracks for? And then what was it about the MPC that you didn't gel with? Oh, I seen that some of that Teenage Engineering stuff. The rhythm, something about original layers or something, and then the little mixer. All right, let me keep it going while y'all talk about the fun stuff.
some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Posing your own. Many do it for the money and some for the love. Many are called, but few are chosen from above. This ain't about boasting, it's about grace. So many people coasting. A life's a terrible thing to waste. Get your mind right, look to Christ. I've been blind my whole life, no sight. Gotta find a focus and take flight on it. Get right on it, no matter your plight. Everybody's gotta struggle, though the pain takes a toll. Gotta love yours. Quotation J. Cole, thank you for the inspiration. Don't fold, you gotta fight. Keep fighting till your blood go cold. Keep sweating till your tears run out. What do you fear? We don't all grow old. Something to think about. Bigger picture, nothing else matters but the love. Watch the words in your mouth, everything's vibrating. We're all created from a word, from these words I'm making.
Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit, unless you got purpose, so worthless, yeah.
Fades on the linear track view. Okay, we'll look at that in a second.
Some do it for the some do it for the ego. Some do it for the ego. All for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing your own. Chill. Yeah.
MPC Herb Soul, what's good, man? Appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the chat in a second.
Some do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing your own. Money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing your own, making.
I got a few lines.
Some do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing your. Imposing a change. Imposing a change on the free will of others. Tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a change on the free will of your brothers. Free will. Do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a change on the free will. God's will, imposing a change on the free your brother, freedom of your brother. Yeah. Some do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a change on the freedom of your brothers. Your name should be Cain. And Cain, I'm able-bodied to body this. Don't do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Now imposing a change on the freedom of your brother, your name should be Cain. I'm able body to body, pain, I'm able. Able. So many do it for the money and some for the love. Many are called but few are chosen from above. This ain't about boasting, it's about grace. So many people coasting, a life's a terrible thing to waste. Get your mind right, look to Christ. I've been blind my whole life, no sight, gotta find a focus and take flight on it. Get right on it, no matter your plight. Everybody's gotta struggle through the pain, takes a toll, gotta love yours. Quotation J. Cole, thank you for the inspiration. Don't fold, you gotta fight, keep fighting till your blood go cold. Keep sweating till your tears run out. What do you fear? We don't all grow old, something to think about. Bigger picture, nothing else matters but the love. Watch the words in your mouth, everything's vibrating. We're all created from a word, from these words I'm making. Come on.
Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit. Unless you got purpose, so worthless, yeah.
Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Now imposing a change on the freedom of your brother, your name should be Cain. I'm able-bodied to body.
Mess around with loading up different drum kit. I just want to see. Man, they're loud out there. Good thing this ain't a recording session, because I'd be frustrated.
Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth. Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit, unless you got purpose.
Let's keep it as is. Let's see. YouTube channel mixer from Teenage Engineering. Was that just leaks too? That wasn't an official announcement, right? Hated the slow load times on key groups. Yeah, I hope they do something with key groups where you can do, because since we have some sort of disk streaming now, like you can select individual files and apply them to disk streaming. It would be nice if they had like a button that will disk stream the entire key group. I've been saying this one for a while. 128 MIDI tracks, but only 8 audio tracks. Yeah. And then I want fades on the linear track view. Like, what kind of purpose would you use that for? Because you do know that there is some form of fading. Do you just not like the way you fade on this? So like I went in here and select this. There's a fade right here. Fade out. You can go like, I guess you can go finer tune.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're able to fade to some degree. I'm not sure that's somehow different than what you're asking for. And then you could always do automate like the track level to fade something. Couldn't stand going into MIDI clips to adjust notes. I'm not sure what you mean. More responsive touchscreen. I still don't know if they ever fixed the export to Ableton feature. Yeah, I never messed with it, so I got a feeling it will be red. I like recording guitars and bass guitars and audio tracks. Yeah, for sure. If I want to record straight to the timeline with audio tracks, then that should be easy. I mean, $17.99. I think it was $16.99, right? Hope they don't skimp on the RAM. At least put 8 to 16. Yeah, hopefully. I hate the way they fade. Live 2 SE. Why would they leave the Live 2 out of the SE Plus range? Probably because they already had a Live. I would say, because the Live 2 is the update to the Live. So technically, they already got an update. Yeah, I put the fade on the actual audio clip. I just showed you. Don't go halfway. Shigito, what's good? Still Life, what's up? There's no crossfade either. Yeah, you might be right about that. Yeah, that's some noise pollution out there, man. It's loud. They've been going since shoot, this morning, like 7 a.m. I think.
Some do it for the ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Now imposing a chain on the freedom of your brother. Your name would be Cain. I'm able-bodied. Ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. Now imposing a chain on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able-bodied. body, a frame, reference.
Shigita, they did release 2 red MPCs in a row. It was the 1 Plus and then the Key 37 were the last 2 MPCs we've seen released.
Do it for the ego, all for the name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain, I made my body, the body a name, body a frame of reference.
That's annoying out there.
So many do it for the money, and some for the love. Many are called, but few are chosen from above. This ain't about boasting, it's about grace. So many people coasting, life's a terrible thing to waste. Get your mind right, look to Christ. I've been blind my whole life, no sight. Gotta find a focus and take flight on it, get right on it. So do it for the ego, so do it for the ego. All for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame, you try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a chain. The freedom of your brother, your name should be Cain. I'm able body, frame. For the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I made my body the body a frame. I've referenced you slain, your kin. Yourself, shifting the blame. So many do it for the money. Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will, imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I made my body the body a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing self, shifting the blame. Aching for yourself. A frame of reference. You slain your kin, forcing self-shifting blame. Taking for yourself. So do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. You're imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able body to body a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing self, shifting the blame. Take it for yourself. Change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able body to body a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing self, shifting the blame, taking. Forcing yourself, no blame, take for yourself, not regarding the sin. Some do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. We try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. You're imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able-bodied to body a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing self, shifting the blame, taking for yourself without regarding the sin. The body, a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing self, shifting the blame, taking for yourself with regard self, not regarding the sin. I had another word I was about to rhyme with, but I don't know where it went. Lost it. So do it for the ego, all for the name. Plus money equals power, now pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. You're imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able-bodied to body a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing yourself, shifting the blame, taking for yourself, not regarding the sin. I was gonna go somewhere else with that. Why don't you write the vocals right away? What you mean? I'm writing right now. This is just how I do it. When I write, I like to have my headphones on and hear my voice through the mic and just kind of repeat what the lines that I write down, and then repeat, kind of like freestyling the next thing and seeing what sticks, and then I write that down, and then if I like it, then I keep going and on to the next line. Still life. Current way the fade works is going into the audio clip. That's time consuming. Fade should be on the actual clip. What do you mean the actual clip versus the audio clip? Maybe I don't understand what you're saying, or at least I just don't remember. I don't have a frame of reference since it's been so long since I've used something like Pro Tools or Logic. Yeah, I'm not opposed to mouse support. Denkron, what's good? Appreciate it. Red MPC 1, red key 37. Yeah, red is just hard in your eyes. Yeah, I seen someone write like maybe if they did a darker red. Black retro or custom tops would be dope. Yeah, that was an idea that I thought was cool too. Yeah, retro black would look so much cleaner. Retro off black, is that what you're saying? Cleaner in my setup too. Kind of like the 404 Mark II where you can change the top. Yes, yeah. Or a matte black. Yeah, at least like a matte black. Like something textured maybe. Like I like prefer like even, I would even buy like a black skin that has like a matte vinyl to it just to put over, because the texture is better and it's cleaner. If they made the case replaceable, then they would sell colorway options. Yeah, for sure. They could do a whole case on the top. And that's what I was saying too, like even if they didn't, even if you took it off and there was like it was still in a case for whatever reason, maybe maybe they just don't want people like going digging in the machines. I don't know what the design idea is behind putting them together the way they do now versus back then, like the 500, 2500, 1000. So easy to take apart. You take off the top, and then you can see the insides there. You can remove the pads real easy. K-Bar Beats, appreciate it. Safety 404, appreciate it. Do a fade on the timeline. Well, wouldn't automation work for that? Is that somehow different? Yeah, I'm trying to picture, like I can't picture it being done any other way than automation or
on the actual audio file. You shouldn't have to double click inside of a clip to actually adjust the fade. How would you do it on like Ableton or something? How would you do that? What's the process? Aren't you just adjusting the volume for the overall track and creating a fade on the track? Create XY effects immediately during the composition process. I'm not sure what you mean. Retro or black, okay. I thought it was some kind of retro black they used to use or something. Logic, FL Studio, Ableton, etc. all have the phase on the front and end of audio or MIDI clip. Oh, okay, so you're saying like just to drag the audio itself rather than going in here, clicking on the audio and then moving down to a little box here where there has a number. You can actually, yeah, they definitely should. I feel like, you know, because you could do stuff with this. You can move stuff. Well, when Pro Tools or Logic, I forget what it was called, like a super tool or something. And then like the different positions on the audio would give you a different, like this works in that way too. So if I drag on the bottom, it moves the length. I drag from the top, it moves the actual audio, or from the center. But yeah, that would make sense. I can't figure out how to scale lock my MIDI keyboard in 3.5. I used to just hit pad perform and it would just... I've never been able to do that. You're talking about scale locking an external MIDI keyboard that's plugged in through USB? I don't think that's ever been possible. You only lock it to the pads. And if you want that feature, you got to use a keyboard that has that feature. Yeah, I don't recall. I think I was trying to look into that at one point where if it would scale lock your keyboard, but I don't think that exists, man. What keyboard, what are you using? Or what MPC are you using? If you have one of the keyboard MPCs, you should be able to do it, but you don't use pad perform. You use the keyboard control, I think is what it's called. You got the key 61 or the 37 keys?
Think big, get rich, all that money ain't worth shit, unless you got purpose, so worthless, yeah.
Some do it for their ego, all for a name, plus money equals power. Now pride is a shame, you try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. You're imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able body to body your frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing yourself, shifting the blame. Take it for yourself, not regarding the pain. Let me see the pain, that's better. Committed a sin, slain, kin forcing self, shifting the blame. Taken for yourself, not regarding the pain. Committing a sin. That'll work, I think.
Yeah, Tweet Key Lab 40 on MP's Live too. Yeah, man, I'm surprised you said that you were able to do that before. I don't think that's ever been possible. I mean, there's one thing you can do is change the... You can transpose from the MPC and then therefore like change the key and be able to play major scale all on the white keys. But I've never heard that actually being possible. That's why you have an advantage when you buy, I guess, one of the keyboards, is you have that keyboard control option. Yeah, so the scale lock thing that we're talking about, B-Jam has said to 2 keyboards, but it's a separate feature outside of pad perform. It would be cool if they had it like that, where they can lock your keyboard and send that out from any of the MPCs, but I don't think that is possible. I feel like I would have figured that out by now because I've spent a lot of time looking for like the right kind of keyboard that has proper scale and chord modes and stuff. I like the launch keys. I think B Jammin will co-sign that. I think the launch keys are the best for that. Yes, yeah, Mark 4. Launch key Mark 4 is great. Yeah, get a launch key for sure. Launch keys are cool. It would just hit the pads in pad perform mode when using the keys. Yeah, man, I'm not sure. I don't know what you stumbled across there, but I've never seen that possible. Denkron. I made a skin for Fly Tape 2 in the style of retro Rust on a tape recorder and a cassette tape with Dilla's J. Dill. That sounds dope. You know how to do that stuff, huh? Is that hard to do? Is that easy to do? I mean, I imagine you got to do the artwork, so you got to have a couple skills like software programming to some degree and then art skills. Shigito, are the Q-Links... where can we see that though, Den Cron? I'd like to see it. Are the Q-Links somehow customizable, not for effects, but for the main functions like zoom in and out, start endpoints of the loop, etc.? Nah, I somehow find the standard layouts. Yeah, exactly. And I share that same feeling, same perspective as you, man. And I was just talking about this, I think, in my the stream that we were talking about, like what we want MPC Live 3 to be. And I was talking about how I think it would be much better if they had Q-Links on the bottom and just make more sense, and you had like a start and end point for your chopping. Because it was almost a luxury in that you only get when you have the X, because you have all that available in the 16 Q-Links. But no, like zoom in and all that stuff, as far as I've seen and know, there's been some advancements that I haven't really dug super deep into with the Q-Links. Like I think it is better, but I'm not sure if they've added what you can program. Like you can definitely do effects, but as far as like zooming and stuff, I think that's locked into what they've decided is the workflow, which kind of sucks. But I'm sure it's somehow possible. They've just blocked that ability in order to kind of, I'm assuming that's a business move, you know? So you get the more luxurious features of 16 Q-Links and you buy into an MPC X. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have a 1, 2 MPC 1 if it had the battery in it. That's a cool layout for sure. Yeah, I might be able to live without the speaker. I'd go for I would definitely love a microphone. For some people, it doesn't make sense to them. It's just kind of pointless. But for me, I'm doing scratch vocals. I'd love to not have to, because at work I got like a USB mic and then so I have the USB cable. I have an audio cable, and then I bring my phone. I bring a spare phone that I use, and then I plug that all in, and then so it's a little bit more setup and stuff that takes up space or just time when I'm at work, which I'd rather avoid, because if I'm just coming up with an idea, I just want to come up with a scratch vocal without having to do all that. So that would be super convenient. What's not good for your CPU and RAM usage? The skinning thing? Shigito, it's a missed opportunity we have to let them know. I thought I was the only one. I always forget which Q-Link does what on which page. Right, and then you could always just click and hold, and then you can see. But yeah, they made some changes to the way the Q-Links behave that I don't really like. Like I like having, this is one that I use a lot, is like the playhead, so I can like rewind and fast forward and stuff and just move that. And when you go into like I wish there were some consistency to it, like when you go into the arranger. Now that Q-Link has changed, the function of that Q-Link has changed, and it's like the loop point. So you have to click over one and then you can do it. What's interesting though is once you've gone into the arranger and switched to the Q-Link Lite 2, then it'll automatically switch back. See that? And then you have consistent control, but only after you go in and switch it. So if I go over here, go in here, it's still on ones. I'd have to switch it. Well, I guess it's just because it remembers what Q-Link Lite you're on per page. So if I went over here, I guess that doesn't have any Q-Link functionality. There's that. I guess that doesn't either. Mic and battery go over a speaker. Any day. The mic is dope for percussion. If they got rid of the speaker and just allowed to Bluetooth to a speaker, I'd be happy. I don't think that would be a good idea, man. There's not using Bluetooth audio to produce stuff is not a good idea from my experience. I don't know if that's improved, but you have too much of a lag for it to be useful. So you could be like trying to sequence over here and it's delayed, so you won't be able to like really record anything in time. It would be cool if it could receive Bluetooth audio. I think that would be a better option, because then you could wirelessly sample from a phone, have audio go in, and that doesn't have to be locked to a timeline, so not really an issue. Just to play it loud, not to produce. I see. I feel like that would be kind of a crutch, but they have to update the live for sure, because that slow but load time would not work live. For what, like the key groups or the plugins? Yeah, the listening is fine for sure, but you guys ever tried produce? I try to do that with I went on a trip to Texas, and all I brought was my phone and Koala, and I wanted to make beats on that, and I only brought my Bluetooth headphones. That's how I found out, because I never tried it before, and I just couldn't do anything with it, so that was a disappointment. Yeah, can you try imagining switch a preset live? Yeah, that doesn't really work. I mean, you'd have to just have like a template with the audio tracks with the desired plugins already set up, and just switch through the tracks. Yeah, man, all that noise is really throwing me off from this whole process. Or I'm just making excuses. So do it for the ego, all for a name. Plus money equals power now. Pride is a shame. You try to build a tower so high it profanes the way of God's will. You're imposing a change on the freedom of your brother. Your name should be Cain. I'm able body to body, a frame of reference you slain. Your kin forcing self, shifting the blame, taken for yourself, not regarding the pain, committing a sin. Time we got 121. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna call it. That was a good little session. I got a few lines in. I could take this to work with me and then go see if I can write the rest out. Usually for me, it'll probably take me a few sessions of working out a verse, and then whether I'm happy with the way it flows, maybe move some words around and stuff. But yeah, I'll call it on that, and I'll just chat it up for a minute. I'm about to head out. Gotta go pick up my daughters. Wait, it's 1:21. Yeah, I gotta go soon. So I'll just wrap it up here in a second. And let's talk nerdy stuff. Since the topic is MPC Live 3. Well, I'm gonna throw the AC on for a second. Since they're gonna be so loud out there, it doesn't really matter. Should have just had it on to begin with so I could stay cool. Hey, if y'all enjoyed the session, could you please give me a thumbs up for, the algorithm and all that. And then shout out to Zounds, man, as always, trying to make an effort of shouting these guys out because they always got my back. And if you guys want to see that new Live 3, these are the guys that are going to help me get it on the channel. I'm going to get it anyways, but if you like that idea, give the stream a thumbs up, man. It always helps. Appreciate y'all. Hawkeye, no updates yet, man. I'm all speculated out and I'm all predicting out on when it's gonna come. I already said about all the ideas I've had, so about a week, I think. If it doesn't show up, then I know I'm gonna be looking at the FCC files and seeing if there's any images in there if it doesn't pop up for whatever reason. So we're coming down to the last minute. If a lot of us are wrong, then I really don't know what to say, but I think it's just wishful thinking that it would have had happened sometime before the date of the 23rd. Yeah, timing would be jacked up on the Bluetooth for sure. Appreciate it, Safety. If you need to hit the like button, I appreciate that. Was the last date for the release you mentioned just it wasn't a wild guess. It was just based on, I guess, like I was saying, wishful thinking, hoping that it would pop up sooner than the 23rd. Because so the guess is based off of the date that's on the FCC file that has the confidentiality agreement about internal and external photos. So that should be up by next Tuesday. So that's the best guess. If you don't see it by next Tuesday, then man, your guess is as good as mine. Who knows what they're doing? I picked a LaunchControl XL today. Is there a way you can do a video about, the ins and outs? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had a brief stream. I guess I kind of talked about it. I think we were talking more about MPC Live. Do you have the new one? Do you have the new one? I assume you saw me with it the other day, so I assume this is the one you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make a video. Maybe I'll do a stream. We'll see. What are you trying to do with it? Plug this in real quick. Yeah, that's what I think. I think I don't think they're just gonna release a new MPC and not give you some fixes and some new features that we ain't seen yet. Especially if it's just gonna be like Alistar says, just like an SE type upgrade where it's 4 gigs. They're gonna at least have to. I think it'll be more than 4 gigs, man. I feel like this just is a milestone. Like MPC 3 is a big deal, and it maybe not be for everybody at this point, but I think it'll probably be for a lot more of the people that have been hesitating. That's my guess. I would think they want to do something bigger than just show you a new piece of a new like box with very little changes. They are shipping in October. Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I keep saying like, who knows, but I mean, we've had people come out and say that they've bought them, like, what's his name? Lonza, Beats by Lonza. He comes in here frequently. He does YouTube content. He owns a lot of pieces. You ever go over to his channel? He's got a whole room full of drum machines, samplers and stuff. He said he bought one. So yeah, I imagine that makes sense. Like, have the pre-orders like a couple weeks before. Got that from a tester. They won't mention my name for sure. How long does the battery last on a Live 2? See, we went over this. I had this question last time, and I gauged it by, I had charged it before the stream, and I think I had streamed for like 2 hours before the question was asked, and I was at about like 50%. So I think based off of that logic, 4 hours about. Yeah, there you go. About 4 to 6 hours. Yeah, and then I guess like some of it is like, are you actively using it? I wonder if that drains more usage or how much CPU you're using. I really don't know how it works. Look, I'm at 100% right now. I just gotta have this plugged in. Depends on how many plugins you're running. Okay, yeah. That's what I was assuming. It's probably based off of what it has to process and all that. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the stream. Kind of started out rough. You know, you get anxious sometimes and stumble on your words, whatever. But whatever. I got some words in. I got some verses in, some lines. So everything's a work in a process, you know. For sure. But yeah, I'm gonna call it on this one, and see y'all in the next one. Work on some other kind of idea for the next one. I appreciate y'all kicking it with me. We'll see what happens soon. All right. Y'all bless everyone.